If Gail Sondergaard didn't quit 1939's The Wizard of Oz, there would not be Wicked today. As excitement builds for the upcoming movie release, the legacy of The Wizard of Oz is sparking fascinating behind-the-scenes revelations from the past. One of the most iconic villains in cinematic history, the Wicked Witch of the West, was originally set to be played by Oscar-winning actress Gail Sondergaard in 1939. However, her version of the character would have looked vastly different from the iconic green-skinned witch we all know, before Margaret Hamilton was finally cast because Sondergaard turned down the role for being so ugly, essentially so wicked. Sondergaard underwent costume tests that revealed a glamorous take on the witch. Her designs included a sequined cape, a black hood, and glamorous makeup, which I would love for myself. Look that resembled the evil queen from Snow White, far from the frightening, pointy-chinned villain Hamilton portrayed. However, the studio pushed for a more ugly witch look with heavy makeup, and this is when Sondergaard just opted to drop out. She feared the disfiguring makeup would hurt her career, which was already challenging for actresses over 40 at the time. This decision of Sondergaard opened the doors for Hamilton, and the world got to see the unforgettable Wicked Witch of the West. Fast forward 56 years, and Gregory Maguire is moved in his words by the ugly green witch to write his novel, Wicked, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West. 8 years later, the musical debuts on Broadway, and nearly 30 years later, the ugly green witch becomes world famous in the new movie that premieres this week. Elphaba, played by Cynthia Erivo, becomes an LGBTQ icon. Broadway star Idina Menzel, the original ugly green witch, told Queer News Tonight Ferguson in an exclusive interview that Elphaba was a queer character.
To kind of get into that character every day and feeling that sort of loneliness, I think, was something that I tapped into, and maybe the queer community tapped into with Elphaba. This sort of this young person that feels so much and has so much fire in her and magic, sorcery, and is afraid to really surrender that for fear of hurting the people that she loves,
Cynthia Erivo spoke this week about her thoughts that Defying Gravity is about challenges of the LGBTQ experience, and it was all due to Gail Sondergaard, who wanted to make the Wicked Witch glamorous. The rest, as they say, is history. I'm sorry, I'm with Sunderland. I would have loved a glamorous Wicked Witch. Like, let's really do it up like that. But,
But then Glinda wouldn't have shown as brightly. We needed the polarity.
I understand what film, yes.
By the way, in Act 2, Elphaba gets her bedazzled black cape and the black hat. I don't know how much about the story, because I will say this. It said the studio pushed for an uglier witch, so it sounds like they were going to get the witch no matter what, the actress. So I don't know if it wouldn't have happened if she didn't quit. However, I was confused reading the story at first because I was confused by the quotes, and it was actually the actress who quit, Sondergaard, calling the ugly, because I'm like, it's this ugly thing is the narrative is weird to me. But the queer part of it is not weird nor new to me, because the novel was my first introduction to, I think, a character that was born with both. They make it in the first chapter to tell you that Elphaba was born with both male and female reproductive organs, making her just slightly different from everyone surrounding her. This is a novel and story where animals talk and Tin Man walk, and it's always been this. So I never really thought it wouldn't happen if she didn't say that to the role. I just think it would have been differently.
Also, the Wizard of Oz tales, they all had these beautiful villains and villains.
Beautiful.
One thing, another great Wizard of Oz movie was Return to Oz, that Disney actually really tried to keep to the original. And that villain there, they did a very beautiful but still scary.
Wasn't that Nancy from The Craft?
Yeah, and she had 40 heads, and as a little kid, I was so freaked out by the 40 heads.
Oh my God, it's streaming right now on Paramount Plus.
Oh yeah, Before we get into more, did you see this film yesterday? What did you think of it?
I did. I saw Wicked yesterday. I loved it. But I have a BFA in musical theater. I was up for Bach on Broadway. Didn't get it. Alex Brightman got it over for me. And then he played Beetlejuice. He's really good. It was a love letter to the Broadway production. It wasn't TV thought, they didn't TV-a-thon it. They didn't make it something it wasn't. I thought Ariana Grande was a masterclass in acting, and the singing followed. Cynthia Erivo, we will be seeing much more of her on our screens. Everything was sung live. They both did their own stunts. I got a spray tan a day before it. I wouldn't recommend that because I just cried my eyes out, and it went by so fast. And if you know the Broadway production, you know how it's going. You know that this part one is ending after Defying Gravity. So once that starts, you're like, holy shit, this is it. The theater was standing up and applauding. People were dressed up. People were green. It was magical, and it was queer. It was lovely. It really was.
So earlier this year, my book club read a book called Finding Dorothy, and it was all about Frank Elbaum's wife and her narrative in terms of the Hollywood production. So I think one of the things we think about when we talk about that is that series had been around for decades. So people not only knew the story, but it was highly illustrated by artists. So they had a very, very clear vision of what these characters look like. So they think just like you're saying with Wicked and what people know from the Broadway, there's an expectation,
absolutely,
right?
Yeah,
that you're gonna be kind and honor the source.
Absolutely.
Material, so
I'm gonna admit, that I've never read the books.
You should read the book.
And that my only connection is to the movies because it came once a year and it was like a rite of passage in my house.
Right.
But this actually is so beautiful for my whole ethos because you always got to go back to the book.
You have to read the book. You'll read it so fast.
Always.
It's so
I'm just
good.
making my list.
The thing that might take you for a loop is MGM invented the ruby slippers, so there'll be silver slippers. So that confuse
well,
you.
that was because the book originally was
it was a little more grotesque. It was a little more grotesque,
It was a parable about silver standard versus gold standard.
Right.
Well, it came out during the Depression.
And
Well, it was
Wizard
very
of
progressive
Oz,
writer.
progressive era. But the thing is, I have known so many baby gays who does not know what Wizard of Oz is, who Judy Garland is. We're losing a...
Do your homework. Do your homework, people.
We need to have then Wizard of Oz nights.
Let's do it. You tell me when.
Oh my
I'm there. I'm going to do a
gosh.
Wizard of Oz trivia theme tomorrow night at the pub. I'll see you there.
Oh, Lord.
I love it.
And really read the book. I'm going to ask you.
I will read the book.
I'm going to circle back
I will.
on that.